up, folks? I'm Tumanyanelu.
I'm Rhea.
And this is the Full Volume Podcast, episode 3. Welcome back. We are, as you can tell, not using our tiny microphones today because I sillily forgot to charge my laptop, so we don't have it, and therefore we can't pick up the audio on the tiny mics. So we're not using them today, okay?
I'm geeking at the word sillily because I used it earlier. I used it earlier this week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that word itself is just so
silly. It is exactly as it describes.
Yeah.
Okay.
English is a fun language.
Yes, English is a fun language.
Just
which
sometimes.
is several languages stacked in a trench coat.
It's fair.
Realistically, that's what English is.
Fair.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
I wrote down some topics.
What are we yapping about today?
Yes. Now, it's still February as we're filming this. This won't come out until March, of course, because today is the 28th. But it's February as we're filming this, and I felt like we needed to talk about the Super Bowl, at least briefly. Specifically the halftime show.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch the actual game. I don't know if you watched the game.
Yeah, but I didn't fully pay attention to it.
Yeah. I didn't feel like watching it because I am so sick of the Chiefs, and I'm not technically an Eagles fan. I was rooting for the Eagles because I'm preying on the Chiefs' downfall, but it wasn't enough for me to be committed to watching the actual game itself. But I did watch the halftime show. I didn't intend to watch it live because that would require me to have the game on until the halftime show, and that felt like too much commitment for some reason. But my mom had it on in her room and was like, is this the halftime show? And so I went in her room. I was like, oh, yep, it's beginning. Yeah. I missed the very start of it, so I had to go watch it later. Yeah. And I realized that I know a lot more Kendrick Lamar songs than I thought.
Yeah.
Cause he did I was singing every song, and I was like, I didn't know. Yeah, I know the words, but I don't know the titles of most of the songs. That's what it really is. But I mean, I know he's an icon, so it really didn't matter if I knew if I knew the titles of his songs or not. I was excited to see him. Right, exactly. I'm rooting for his success because he's one of the few people in Hollywood who actually uses his platform to say something of importance, which I thought was really nice. I appreciated that his halftime show was about saying something, you know?
Yeah.
When Samuel L. Jackson was too loud, too ghetto, I was like, oh, whoa.
Reckless.
I was like, oh, he's speaking. I love that.
Yeah.
Because,
it went over a lot of people's heads, though.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
It went over a lot of people's heads, and the people it was about were mad about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a hit dog is always going to come hollering, as they say. And on the subject of people who were furious about the fact that he did it, period. They were like, that was the worst halftime show of all time. Blah, blah, blah. I saw that comment a lot, which I thought was very interesting. But in response to that comment, there were a lot of people y'all can't really be saying that Maroon 5 didn't do the halftime show. Yeah, right. Here's the thing. Maroon 5 did the halftime show when we were in college. And I did not watch a single Super Bowl while we were in college because we don't have TVs in the dorms. Yeah. And so it didn't really, I'm not attached enough to football to go out of my way to find a way to watch it. And I don't have friends who were doing the watch parties. Watch parties were happening on campus, of course, but I never bothered to find one. They weren't being hosted by anybody I knew. Yeah. So it really didn't matter to me. So Maroon 5 was in 2019. I did not even know that happened until I saw people talking about how bad it was in response to people saying they didn't like Kendrick's. And so I went to watch it because I was like, I got to see why people are still talking about this one that I didn't even know happened, And it was about as bad as people made it seem.
So say Kendrick's was bad is a crazy statement.
It is a crazy statement. But it's crazy because, it's very much people responded exactly the way Kendrick Lamar expected to, Samuel L. Jackson going, "You're being too loud, too reckless, too ghetto." That's exactly the response that he received for that halftime show.
Yeah.
People were like, it was too blackety black and they didn't like that. Yeah, that's what it is. I thought it was fun as hell.
I thought it was a great show.
Oh, the dancers are amazing, the messages.
Choreography was great.
The choreography was going crazy.
Talk about Kendrick wearing bell bottoms. He pulled that off so well.
They were they were really cunty.
I know.
I liked them.
Like,
as somebody who owns a couple pairs of bell bottoms myself, as if I lived through the 70s, and quite likes bell bottoms, like as a fashion choice, he was really...
He was rocking it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I don't think I'd ever thought about a man eating up bell bottoms, but
for sure. They're definitely like, like you see them and they usually like look really dated. Like it's hard to pull them off in a way that doesn't look like you're just like emulating the 70s, The Maroon 5 halftime show pissed me off really bad when I watched it.
I don't think I've ever seen the whole show. I think I've seen like snippets.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
It's not
Maroon
good.
5.
Yeah. No, it's
how good can it really be?
And it's crazy. You know what bothers me about Maroon 5 as a concept? Is that Adam Levine has been acting a fucking fool since like 2017, and he has ruined the legacy of that band. Yeah. Because a lot of their they have so many iconic bangers, but Adam Levine has been showing his ass for so long, people have forgotten that once upon a time, Maroon 5 was one of like peak white boy bands. Yeah. Like they had a crazy run in the early 2000s. Sunday Morning, Misery, Makes Me Wonder. Like they had so many bops.
They did. Did I just fix this accidentally?
This girl been fiddling with a ring for like the past 20 minutes. She took it off to wash her hands and she ain't been able to fix it since.
Wait, I fixed it. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to look like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have just saved everybody some stress and
they should have just
melded it together.
I don't know why okay, so this is the...
Will it focus? Probably not.
No.
Yes, YouTuber. Hang on, let me cover my face.
Do I?
Dang. It's like a little... I'll put a photo in post, I guess. Just send me a picture of the ring so that I can show them.
It's from Pandora. I don't know why they would make a ring like this, where it's like literally two bands intertwined, but they're not like...
They're not
together.
melded together.
They're like literally two separate circles. So it came apart.
It's like one of them, like, them little magic circle things?
Yeah.
That's like, oh, these are linked together, now I'm going to separate them. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, so that bitch came apart, and I was like, oh, that's a problem, because I don't know how to put it back together. Because it's like, not... It's just...
It's dumb. That's what it is. It's dumb.
Engineering flaw.
Yes, very serious design
It's a cute
error.
ring, but it's just,
I think they have too much confidence in the capabilities of their purchasers.
Do. And when I went to go buy this, they were like, do you want to add like $20 more for a warranty or whatever? Because, any tarnishing or whatever, it's not on us. If you buy the warranty, like you can replace it. I was like, why are you selling shit that's going to tarnish real fast? They're like, yeah, any scratches, tarnish, whatever, like wear and tear. I was like, oh. And she was like really adamant. She was like, okay, and then it's not on us. I was like, okay.
Personally, if I had that conversation, I wouldn't have bought it. That conversation would have turned me off the whole thing. I'm like, so clearly y'all shit is not that high quality. Yeah, if you have to emphasize 30,000 times that if it tarnishes, it's not on you because I didn't buy the warranty.
She was really trying to push that warranty. I was like,
I understand that the point is to upsell customers, but like if you sell it that way, it does make it sound like your shit sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So girl, take some notes maybe.
Yeah.
For watching this.
As somebody who did work in a spot. Yeah. I worked in a retail place, but particularly a place that sold like pretty expensive items. Like I worked at Sunglass Hut.
Yeah.
Which is just $200 to $500 sunglasses. Bougie for no reason. And then for a number of reasons, I ended up having to leave the job. As much as I liked my manager, the regional manager was insane. I don't know if we talked about it at all.
At some point.
But when I did like the interview for that position, I had those like blue poodle puffs in my hair.
Oh yes, we did.
Yeah, and she tripped out to my manager like after the interview because my manager was really dead set on me being her assistant manager because I was the only person she liked that worked there. And the regional manager was like, but her hair is blue. And she has butterfly clips in it. And now, granted, my manager went to bat for me over it. She was like, I really don't care that her hair is blue. We sell sunglasses. Like, does it matter?
Yeah, like...
Also, there was a store manager who worked in the mall as well at like the Macy's location, because for some reason we had 2 full-size stores and then like a kiosk at Macy's in the same mall. And the guy who was in charge of the Macy's location was tatted from ear to wrist and was always wearing short sleeves. He also had like huge gauges and multiple times had dyed his hair several colors. And so she was like, if you tell him to cover up his tattoos, take out his gaudy piercings, and stop dyeing his hair, I'll tell her. She didn't say gaudy, but like, that's the point, you know, like, cause she also had an issue with the fact that my septum was pierced. And it was very like weird professionalism issues that she had. Mind you, like my hair is not actually dyed. Like, the poodle puffs are clearly not my actual hair. My hair is purple today. Like, this is fake hair, you know? And you would think that she would understand that because, believe it or not, she was black.
Yeah, that part got me.
That part gets everybody.
Yeah.
Anytime I tell that story, they assume it's a white woman because it's very white woman behavior.
I think I made the same assumption. I was like, is she white? And you were like, no. Actually.
My mother made the same assumption. My cousin made the same assumption. My father made the same assumption. Literally every friend I've told the story to makes the same assumption.
It's unheard of from a black woman. Like,
right.
What?
And she also had like big issues with the fact that I had a life outside of the job. She was like, I think this job was her entire life. And I mean, it wasn't even just me that she had that issue with. She had that issue with my manager as well, because my manager had like kids and so had other stuff to do. And it used to be a real issue with the regional manager. And I was like, this is just ridiculous, girl. I'm clocking in like 40 hours a week at this job.
Yeah. That's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my off days to do other stuff.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. One of my like scheduled days off was like a Wednesday or whatever. And for some reason we had like meetings on Wednesdays that she expected everybody to be at. And I was like, I'm not coming to a meeting on my day off. My manager is there. Anything I need to know, she will tell me. I don't think that we both need to be at this meeting. That feels silly to me. She also had an issue with the fact that one of my days off was a Friday, but I needed to take one weekend day off because my other job was mostly like a weekend thing. And I was like, if I can't do both, then I'm not staying here. Yeah. And that's what ended up happening. My manager has also since left that place, thank God. I was waiting on it. Yeah. I really, like, once I left, I was like, we just gonna count down the clock. She gonna get out. So, okay, I wrote down the halftime show. We talked about that in brief. Oh, I didn't explain the Maroon 5 one, actually, because I did want to talk about how much it pissed me off. Because, like, he started the show with, like, 2 jackets and a shirt. And for some reason, he ends the shirt naked. Yeah. I mean, he's wearing pants still, but, like, as he performs, he takes off the first jacket and he's got like another like vest thing on. Then he takes that off. By the end of the show, he's shirtless. And I know you know enough Maroon 5 songs to know that ain't nothing they sing in deserves for him to be shirtless. He's got, I don't know if you knew this, he's got too many tattoos. Like, I'm all for people decorating their body however they want, but he looks like a Chipotle bag.
Now I need to go see. I need to go Google it. Because I don't think I've never paid that much attention.
And like, it usually, like, plenty of tattoos are fine, but like, they just look so weird, right? Like, they're weirdly placed and they're all like muddy looking.
Looking like a Chipotle bag is very accurate.
Yeah, like, I don't know what it is about the tattoos he's chosen. I think it's because so many of them are like super detailed.
Why does he have Hindi on him? Brother.
That's a great question.
I hate stomach tattoos, like real bad.
Also, he just tatted California on his stomach. Like, what are you? Like, you are a person. You are not. Why do you have the name of the state you live in tattooed across your body? Like, are you a damn Forever 21 t-shirt?
I was just gonna say, it looks like a Forever 21 t-shirt.
And does. Anyway, and like, the sleeves are fine. I think I was just annoyed having to look at the chest, the chest, stomach, the back, and the sleeves, you know? Like, it was just too much all at once. Yeah, also, they had a choir on stage with them, and for some reason, there was, at the end of one of the songs...
Oh, he's got leg tats, too.
Well, he was wearing jeans, so I didn't know that. He really is too decorated.
Yeah.
There's such thing as too much, you know?
This is excessive.
Also, they're so random. There's not a fucking lion on his at his belly button.
Yeah.
What? And that lady? Like, what's going on here?
And then a butterfly?
And a cherub, like, angel up at the top? Like, what do we do? And the fucking eagle? Like, anyway, sorry.
And the initials right next to his nipple? Like, what?
Whose even initials are those? They're not his. Anyway, there was a choir on stage with them as well. And there was this lady who was doing all these, like, riffs and runs at the end or whatever. The problem is she was in a different key than the song they were singing, so it sounded like she was off. And it's not like she wasn't singing badly, she was just in the wrong key. So it just sounded dissonant. And I was like, why did nobody tell her to get in the same key as them? Anyway, that was what I had to say about the Maroon 5 halftime show. I know this is incredibly dated information, but I had to talk about it.
It's new to us.
Right, it's new to us, so we're gonna talk about it. Now, I have not been watching it, but I have been seeing people talk about it, the latest season of Love is Blind.
I started the first episode.
You started it? You actually tried to watch it?
Yeah. And okay, so I started it, but then the only reason I didn't continue is because my girl hates me and won't continue watching it with me.
Okay.
Because she's like, yeah, no, this is, like, stupid. And I was like, I agree. You know, the couples, like, they don't seem messy this season. They just seem really odd and weird.
Yeah. Now, I didn't watch the season, but my icon, Kenny JD, I'm gonna plug her because she's one of my favorite YouTubers. Watch her videos. She's watching it for me, as in she's watching it and making a video about it, and she's made a video on the first 6 episodes. Yeah. So I am technically caught up as much as I want to be. I have no interest in watching this season. It looks like they carbon copied the same guy 6 times. So
yeah, they all do.
Which I guess makes sense because they're in Minnesota. Like, how many different types of men are you gonna find in Minnesota? You know. Also, I don't remember. I told my friend this once. We went to watch. I went to watch Multiverse of Madness with a friend of mine, and I told him while we were sitting in the theater that there is, like, technically approximately 5 types of white boy, and you can kind of just like they all look like each other in a very specific way, you know.
I'm just surprised that you came up with 5 types.
I only came up with 5 because there's like 4 standards. There's 4 standards, and then there's like the Andy Sambergs. Like, there's like a specific category for like slightly Jewish looking white boys.
Yeah.
And that's the extra category. But, like, most of the category, there's, like, bald, fluffy dark hair, blonde, and then, like, long-haired white boy. And then the Jewish-looking ones.
You nailed that.
Yeah! That's it. That's all of them, you know? Most white boys, you can fit into one of those categories. Yeah. And if you can't fit them directly, they have somebody who they look similar enough to that you can be like, okay, well, you're not like the category class, but because you look like this other guy, you know, you can fit into that category.
Yeah.
Like, Andy Samberg he looks like Jesse Eisenberg, but he doesn't look like Michael Cera. But Michael Cera and Jesse Eisenberg look similar. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what it is. So that's kind of, that's...
You're on to something there.
Thank you. I have categories for most people. Oh, no.
She's getting too excited. Too excited. Worked up. I'm sorry. Bro, can you, like, tell that I'm talking, like, just differently or, like, with a lisp?
Not until you pointed it out.
It's because I recently got Invisalign.
Oh.
And I feel like I can't talk properly. It's been, like, a week, and I feel like I'm still not used to it.
My sister had that issue when she got her retainers.
It's so stupid, bro. It's the most, like, frustrating thing, especially at work, because then I have to sound mad stupid talking to coworkers and, like, having to call courts and stuff, and I'm, like, slurring my S's. I sound mad dumb. I hate it so bad.
Look, okay, we're fixing our teeth. That's a good thing. But, yeah, I haven't seen the season. I've watched Kenny JD's video about it and seen some other people talking about it briefly. what I've gathered is that all of the men look like each other, which I'm sure is really complicated. I'm already bad with names and I have face blindness, so I would really, really struggle watching this season where all of the men look like duplicates of each other. I think the only real thing of consequence that I can remember from watching that video and from like seeing people talk about it is that one guy who had the ridiculous audacity to say that he doesn't get involved with politics or like Black Lives Matter and none of that really, like, he just tries to stay out of it or whatever. I don't remember what guy that was. They all look the same. I don't know any of their names, but it was funny. The only reason people were talking about it is because the girl that he was having that conversation with was like, it's really important to me that like we're on the same page about that kind of stuff and like that sort of stuff matters to me and this is on the third. And then she got engaged to him, which is incredibly liberal white woman of her.
Yeah.
That, like, people were like, oh, I can't, would you believe she got engaged to him after? And I'm like, yeah.
I would.
There are so many liberal white women who end up marrying conservative men, and I don't know why y'all are surprised. They don't care. Most of their activism is about making themselves look like a better person. They have no empathy for the people that they are actually supposed to be advocating for.
Real.
That's all I had to say about him, about Love is Blind, because I didn't actually watch it. Everybody seems to be saying the same thing. Nobody seems real messy. They just seem kind of odd.
Yeah, they're just...
Everybody's just a little weird.
So, yeah, someone's a little, like, peculiar about each and every one of them. There's this one girl, I don't know names, because obviously
that's fine. I don't either. I didn't watch the show.
Like, half the first episode, but there's this one
Describe
girl.
her to me, and I might be able to figure out who she is.
White and blonde hair is all I remember. She's not very
What
memorable.
happened? What did she do?
All she does is just trauma dump in every date.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
like, girl, don't you have anything else to share?
Hello.
No, yeah, no hi, hello, how are you? It's just straight to like, all right, here's my childhood trauma.
Yeah. I know there's one guy who talks a lot about being bullied.
I think.
I forget his name. I actually don't know his name, but Kenny JD called him Peter Parker. Obviously not that's not his name, but he has very Peter Parker energy, I guess. She just gave all of them nicknames, which is really not helpful.
But
if you haven't seen her video, that doesn't help anybody. But I mean, you might be able to like pick up on the vibe she's saying. I know
who you're talking about.
I think his name was Alex or something like that. I don't know.
His name. Wasn't he like a medical device?
I don't know. She didn't describe who they were. She had nicknames for them, and. Yeah, I think one of them was Peter Parker, and if I remember correctly, he got bullied a lot, which is something he talks about frequently. And I think he was talking to a girl who also has some trauma, so that's why I brought it up.
I think
that
the
might
girl
be,
that
might be the girl you're talking about.
And the guy
Kenny didn't particularly mention that she trauma dumps a lot, but yeah. There was one girl in particular that Kenny said she really liked. I don't know, people didn't like her, evidently, because of how she handled a love triangle that she was involved in, I think. I don't know. The only other thing on my list, we'll keep yapping, of course, but the only other thing on my list is that I have been watching Empire for the very first time. I don't know if you watched Empire.
I haven't.
Do you remember the show at all?
Briefly.
Yeah, I remember it being really big when it came out in like 2016.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard anything about it since.
Literally, same. But I saw this clip that made me want to watch it. I'm very easily swayed. If I see something that looks interesting, I will clock in to see if it's worth, if it's boring, I won't watch it. Yeah. We've talked about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, in the last episode. I went on my tangent about how I couldn't finish that show because fuck Jake Peralta. People really like him, and that's all fine and dandy. I simply can't get behind his ass at all. Anyway, so I started watching Empire in the last month. And that has been a very interesting experience. Most of the characters are awful. Like, honestly, I'm preying on the downfall of most people in that show, except Cookie Lyon, the mother, played by Taraji P. Henson. She's the only character that I am constantly rooting for. There are some characters that I like go back and forth between whether I'm rooting for them or not, I'm preying on the downfall of Lucius Lyon constantly. There is never a moment where I'm on that man's side, except for on the rare occasion when he and Cookie are aligned. And it's not that I'm rooting for him, it's that whatever Cookie wants, I'm on board with. That's what it really is. I hate that man down. I want him to rot in the deepest, darkest pits of hell. Because, like, we start the show And we already they're telling us this man ain't shit. Because at the beginning of the show, Cookie is getting out of jail. She did 17 years in prison because of this man. Yeah. Also, like they're married or whatever and they got kids or something. It's very much.
The fuck did she get 17 years for?
Cocaine dealing. Because they met when she was in school, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like already a gangbanger because he was an orphan or whatever. So, he was, drug slinging and whatever else in the third or whatever. And she got, hooked on the feeling, real down bad for this boy, to the point where she was like hiding guns and drugs and stuff in her house for him. And her daddy kicked her out because he got 2 other kids. He goes, I can't have this. Right. Yeah. This can't happen in my household. I'm sorry. I love you, and it's crazy because like that was his protege. Like that was his, he was rooting on her. He was like really praying on her to get out the hood and, pull them up for she was the one he was counting on, to like do great things. And she got all caught up with this random ass boy. And so he kicked her out. And so she was like, living with him or whatever. And she like got involved in whatever he was doing.
Sorry, it's just odd to me that there's a car strolling by at this hour.
So. I mean, we're in a locked car, so we're probably fine. Yeah. We're in a locked car that's on, so push come to shove, we just put that bitch in gas and we hit the road. But anyway, so she like got all caught up in his lifestyle or whatever, and he's like a rapper.
17 years.
I know, he's a rapper, and she was like dedicated to his cause of like, the music was gonna be the thing to save their lives or whatever. And she got like caught in a drug bust basically. I mean, the whole thing of the show is that they're like music moguls. Oh. Yeah, they have like a huge company. Yeah, you're right. Empire is the name of their label. Right. I forgot the problem is her stupid ass ended up going to jail for him. And you know what's crazy? He divorced her while she was in prison. Yup.
I'll be damned if I go to jail for somebody and they
Yup. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that a bitch?
I'd have to stay in jail. I would have to.
She gets out and she's like, half this company belongs to me because I am the only reason your music went anywhere. A, besides the fact that she went to jail for him. B, she was like his first producer. She was like putting his shit together, refining his sound, and like she had like a really good ear for music. She still does. So, she showed up and started making a stink, and he trying to act like he ain't deserving of the hell she's raising. It was crazy. They got 3 kids.
Now I'm praying on his downfall.
Yeah. No, like that ass. We started the show and I was praying on his downfall. You mean you went to jail for 17 years for his ass? Oh. And he divorced you while he was in prison? That's crazy. Yeah, I'd have to kill you. Yeah. I would absolutely
the second I got out, I'd be right back in.
Truly. Truly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got 3 kids. Their names are Andre, Jamal, and Hakeem. Now, here's the thing. Every last one of them get on my nerves at one point or another. Hakeem get on my nerves the most often. He the baby, and he, at the start of the show, is like 19 or 20. And he is such a spoiled little brat. But like that's the main thing. He's such a spoiled little brat. He thinks everything gotta go his way. He throws tantrums all the time and he just acting a fool. There's one of the first episodes, I think it's like episode 2 or 3. It can't be that far into the season. He's like at a bar or something with his little crew of hooligans, and he's like drunk and belligerent. And like when I say belligerent, I mean he starts hooping and hollering and yelling, and people are looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because you are in public. Act like it. What the fuck?
What are we doing?
Literally, act like you were raised by people, not wild animals.
Have some class.
Right. And now he start going, oh, what's wrong? You don't want no black people in your establishment? And then he pisses on the floor.
No decorum. Not one bit. That's... Why would you do that?
Literally, why? And you know what's crazy? Yeah, I don't want black people in my establishment if they're behaving like that. What is wrong with you? You pissing on the floor. You and your daddy are famous. Do you know that? Because because he's also a rapper, like, with a career. And he just acts a fool all the time. And I'm like, what is happening here?
What is happening?
Like, the only person in his crew that really matters to me, though, is the lesbian. Now, granted, I don't actually know if she's a lesbian. They never really confirm it. But in the first season, she is dressed so androgynously that I did not know if it was a girl or not. Like, I was like, this could very much be like a masked lesbian or a little boy. Like,
we'll never know.
Hair was buzzed, was always wearing baggy clothes, and like voice was like deep-ish.
Yeah.
You know, like not deep enough that you like know for sure that that's a man, but like deep enough that like there are some boys who have voices that are on the higher register, you know? It was like somewhere in the middle range.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Season 2 though, you know, they styled her up a little bit. She had herself a little mohawk thing going on. She started wearing like more revealing clothes. I was seeing some side boob. I was like, okay, that's a lesbian.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know, she don't date nobody, but like there's no way that's not a lesbian. There's no way she's not a lesbian the way she be dressing and acting, you know? Especially because in the first season, you know, she was like chatting up with Hakeem's girlfriend's like background dancer or some shit. Hakeem, also, he a hoe, which is like, you know, I'm not one to judge. I'm no saint myself, personally. But like he has had, in the first season, he's dating one of the girls that's like a singer at Empire, right? And then also he's dating this older woman, like he's dating the both of them.
At the same time?
At the same damn time, yes. And Miss Girl that's the older woman he's dating though, what's really weird to me, their whole situation is really weird because she's like his mama age. I know he got mama issues because his mommy been in jail his entire fucking life, but like he's 19. Like 19 or 20. Like she's a predator. And like I get it, whatever, he in love with her or whatever, but cause like at some point, right, Cookie and Lucius, cause on occasion they're on the same page about things. And Lucius, despite the fact that he is literally the devil, usually he do whatever she want. So when she said, I want that bitch out of his life, he was like, heard. And so he like gave her some money, put her on a plane to London and was like, get the fuck out of my son's life. Deuces. Which I think is totally fair. That's a child.
Yeah.
He's not even old enough to drink.
You can't legally drink.
Hey, I mean, he do it all the damn time, but he's not legally allowed to.
Can't even enter a bar, brother. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy because that lady, she isn't Estelle, but she has Estelle vibes. She's like, you know, real thin, angular features, British, dark skin. She was real pretty. I wish she wasn't a predator. Cookie spends the whole time calling her Yoko Ono. Do you know who that is? She married one of the Beatles. I believe she was also significantly older than the Beatles she married. And also people seem to blame her for breaking up the Beatles. I don't know how true that is. This is well before our time, but she's not well liked by Beatles fans. But also she and her man made a song called, I think it was, Woman is the Nigger of the World. Yeah. So fuck the both of them, but
that's a choice.
Yeah, sure is a choice. Cookie got real fun nicknames for most people though. Lucius's girlfriend, fiance, whatever, at the beginning of the series, her name is Anika. I've spent most of the first season calling her High Yella because I could never remember her name. She real light skinned, very, very much yellow bone. And she got on my nerves. I couldn't stand her. But yeah, Hakeem starts out dating this singer girl who's very much like her music is very interesting because she's definitely one of those like she's only classes R&B because she's black. Like her music, a lot of it feels pop-ish. At least a lot of the songs we hear on Empire. Like the ones that she sings in every episode or whatever, they feel like pop adjacent, but she's classes R&B probably because she's black. So yeah, Hakeem is dating her and the Predator, and the Predator gets real mad that he's dating this other girl. And then he
got
dumped
bigger issues than him dating
Truly.
somebody else. I'll just be real with you.
Yeah, and then so when the Predator gets shipped off, he and the light skin are dating for a little while longer, and then they break up, and then he ends up dating this Latina girl who's in a girl group that he's supposed to be producing. And then they almost get married, but then at the wedding, some craziness goes down, because there's always some craziness goes down, and she's like, this can't be my life. I'm not dealing with this for the rest of my life. Bye. And then they break up, and then he gets back with the light skin. I know, child, it's a mess. Also, this show is so star-studded. There are crazy cameos. Snoop Dogg's in an episode, Patti LaBelle's in an episode.
Damn.
I know. Pitbull's in an episode. I forgot her name, but the woman, you've seen all the Spider-Man movies, right?
Not all of them.
Have you seen the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies?
Yes.
Aunt May from those movies, she in it for several episodes. She's also a lesbian. Like in the show. To be clear, I don't know if she's a lesbian, but her character in the show is a lesbian. Alicia Keys makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Becky G makes an appearance. I'm trying to think. I know, it's fucking insane. Actually, Tinashe is in the show too. She's in like the most recent episode I just watched.
That is crazy.
I know.
They got all these people.
I know. It's insane. The amount of like ABC list celebrities that make appearances in this show.
That's
Snoop
insane.
Dogg is in more than one episode. I was like, what is going on? Every couple of episodes, there's a new random celebrity. I'm like, what you doing here? It's like, Ariana,
what are you
doing here? Yeah, it's crazy. And of course, there's like some like black famous people who are there too. Nia Long is in like the current arc of the show, which you might not know her by name. That's fine. She's in there right now playing an evil bitch, which is all she ever does. I hope she's a nice lady in real life. I obviously don't know, but she play evil people a lot. And she real good at it. She and Vivica Fox, she do that too. She in the show too, actually. Tay Diggs is in it. He real fine. He is so fine. Ugh. He plays like a councilman who's running for mayor or whatever. He dates Cookie for a little while. And then he proposes to her on television, which she did not. She it's weird because it's not that she didn't know he was planning to propose, because he did bring it up, but on television is crazy. And then afterwards, she's like, I don't know if this is like the right move at this time, because I'm not with Lucius anymore, but like they've been together since they were 15, you know? So like it's one of them things where people are like, oh, you know, you never forget your first love. And unfortunately, because they are co-CEOs of a company and got 3 kids together, she'll never be done dealing with him. And so she like admits to Angelo that she's like, I can't pretend that I don't still have some feelings for him that I'm still working through, or whatever. And then, see, the problem is they done broke a couple laws together. Him and her, Angelo. He done broke a couple laws for Miss Cookie. And that don't really work if you're running for mayor. And the problem is he starts talking about all of the ways that he has compromised his integrity without realizing that his mic pack is still on.
Oh.
Yeah. So kind of ruins his political career. And then his mother, who I can't remember the actress. I know her face very, very well, but I don't know her name, and I've never looked it up because I'm foolish. I just keep staring at her like it's gonna come to me at one point. It probably won't. I'm gonna have to look it up at some point. But she's like, we're gonna tear them lions to the ground. Which, to be fair, everybody and their mama wanna tear the lions to the ground. It's crazy. They got so many ops. Like, they got nothing but ops. It's insane. I feel like every couple of episodes, a new person is trying to tear the lions down. And like, I can't even say that I blame people for wanting to tear the lions down. They be doing some nasty business. But the problem is, most of the time, it's Lucius's fault, and everybody else has to suffer.
Damn Lucius.
Damn Lucius, for real. Like, for example, the FBI starts interrogating them. Starts looking into them because, and like, to be fair, Lucius has several bodies to his name. I think he's killed like 4 people, maybe 5.
Oh.
Yeah, he got at least 4 bodies to his name. So he's like, you know, definitely should be in jail.
I can understand why he has ops.
Right, exactly. But the FBI agent that is primarily pursuing the case is also his half brother, and he don't tell nobody that. I know. He ends up getting suspended when they find out that he's
related
to the guy he's been actively wasting resources on. And again, like we as an audience know that Lucius is a killer or whatever, but like if he can't prove it in court, then it don't really matter. And at this point, bro, who cares? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? You just wasting our time. You can't prove that he killed not one of these people. So yeah, it's a lot of nonsense. Everything is so dramatic. It's so like soap opera-esque. It's crazy.
I can imagine.
Like at one point, right, Lucius gets like ousted as CEO through some nonsense, basically, and they end up putting Hakeem in like interim position as CEO. And then at one point, Lucius and Hakeem meet up like under a bridge somewhere, which ironically is where Lucius has already killed somebody. Has killed Cookie's cousin. I know. It's a long story. I'm not gonna get into it on camera because we don't have time. He killed Cookie's cousin down there, meets up with Hakeem, tells Hakeem this is where he killed his ex-wife's cousin, and then he's like, I got a gift for you. Hands his 20-year-old son a gun and says, right now, free range, you have to kill me.
What?
Because if you don't kill me right now, the next time I see you, I'm gonna put a bullet in your skull. To his 20-year-old youngest child. And then he's like, matter of fact, I'll even turn around since you like sticking knives in people's back.
Dramatic as fuck.
Just so extra for what? And Hakeem is like, I don't have to be you.
Period.
And he's like, pussy, basically. That's not what he said, but in so many words, he basically like pussy. And I'm like, sir, that is your child. And you know what's crazy to me, right? Nobody told Cookie this. I feel like Hakeem should have gone right to mama and snitched because Cookie don't play about her kids. She will kill that man over her kids. Actually, in an episode that I recently watched, she and Lucius like got into it because I don't remember what he did. He did some stupid shit, as always, right? And she showed up at Empire, like in the middle of the night, started breaking shit, right? Started smashing records and stuff. Oh, you know what it is? He brought Miss Hayella got pregnant by Hakeem.
Of course.
Mind you, she was dating his father earlier. But Hakeem got her pregnant. She didn't want to give up the baby, whatever. She had the baby. She and Lucius end up married. It's a long story, whatever. He brings her back into the company as like head of A&R, which is artist and recruitment. And he calls her like the heart and soul of the company. Mind you, she'd been in his life 5 years. Cookie went to jail for 17 years for your ass. So she like, straw that broke the camel's back. She starts showing up, breaking shit. She's like, oh, so she the heart of the company? Mind you, I produced that album, that one. I'm the reason this company exists. You built this shit on my back. At one point, he tries to walk over to her and steal the bat that she breaking shit with, and she bashed him upside the head with it. I was surprised. I will admit, I did not expect her to physically attack him. Because as much as he deserves it, she has really never given it to him like that. So I was really caught off guard, but deserved, like I said.
Period.
It was crazy. He was bleeding up the side of his head and everything. It was crazy. I was like, ooh, child. She really did. Yeah. I know, right? But then the councilman's mama stole Hakeem's daughter. Had her removed from the home under like child endangerment claims or whatever, and then managed to use her secret little connections to take the baby out the system and like essentially adopt her. It's a mess. Ciao. Everything's so dramatic all the time.
Sounds it.
I know.
Sounds interesting.
Luckily, I hate most of the characters, so I just get to watch and laugh as they go through chaos. The only one I'm ever mad about things going wrong for is Cookie, but she usually comes out on top.
Not bad.
So, yeah. It's definitely a fun watch. If you like some over the top drama, I recommend it. I will say is very like self-dating. Like, one of the rules of media, when you're like making a show, a movie, or like a book even, they recommend that you try not to make too many like hyper specific pop culture references, because it overly dates the media and it can sort of take the reader out of the immersive experience, or the watcher out of the immersive experience. Like, for example, have you seen House? Mm-hmm. Slay. You know how you can barely tell that show came out in 2005? I don't know if you've noticed that, but it doesn't really feel like it's set in 2005.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed.
Right. The first season of that show came out in 2005. I'm currently watching House, and outside of when, like, they will occasionally mention something that, like, I know happened a long time ago, like, you don't know, or, like, it's not even that they mention something that happened a long time ago. It'll be like someone will say something that is absolutely insane, like, to say in this day and age. Yeah. Like, that one episode, there's an episode where the Australian asshole, there's like a child who comes to the hospital because she like passed out or whatever. And she's like maybe mid-size, I would say. She's no larger than a size 10. Like, the child is not huge. But he spends the entire episode saying that the only thing wrong with her is that she's morbidly obese. And then I'm like, oh yes, this is an old show. You know, something like that'll happen and you remember that this did not come out in 2020, you know? But like, in the first episode of Empire, Lucius is on the phone with Obama. Right? At the start of season 2, Cookie is like doing some sort of concert or whatever, and someone's like, Bill Clinton is here. And she's like, well, he gotta be if his wife is gonna win the presidency. And it's like, whoa.
Pause.
Like, I have no idea. Like, you know, watching shows like Criminal Minds or House, the only thing that reminds you that it's an old show is like they're limited to what technology is available or what music was out at the time, you know? Like in Criminal Minds, because it ran for so long, you watch them go from like the bulky ass computers and flip phones to like the newer iPhones and like sleek laptops and stuff. And that's how you know that time is progressing. Yeah. But like, they don't ever mention the politicians, and they don't mention the politicians. They don't mention like what's going on in the state of the world. And Criminal Minds is about FBI agents. So like, this show about music moguls mentioning so much about what's going on in the real climate is a little excessive. That's the only thing I will say. I think they're doing less of that. Like in seasons 1 and 2, I felt like it was mentioned quite a lot. I'm in season 3 now. I'm actually at the end of season 3, and I don't think they've mentioned much about what's going on in the real world.
How many seasons are there total?
It's 6, I think. Yeah.
Not terrible.
No, it's not bad. And they're like proper seasons though. They're like 18 to 20 episodes a season. They're not like the 8-episode nonsense that we be getting now. But I mean, it's a pretty easy watch through because...
Is each episode like 45 minutes?
Yeah, they're like standard episode length, but when I say it's easy, it's just there's so much going on that it's like time is moving, you know? Like you're watching, like you don't ever feel like you're dragging through the season. Like I didn't realize I was at the end of season 3 until season 4 started. I was like, oh, okay, we're in a new season. Slay. I love that. Cool. There's so much hilarious drama. Like one girl dies because she gets pushed over the edge of a building. It's crazy. I know. But yeah, it's a lot of hilarity to me anyway. I think it's funny because it's like dramatic and over the top. Like literally it's so funny because we watch her go over the building, her husband like screams or whatever, and then we watch her hit the top of a car, and it's very funny. It's just very funny because it's all so like grandiose, you know? Like it's very dramatic, you know? She hits the top of the car and the whole thing compresses, and like the rest of the main cast is like at the, like they're on the street, so they watch her hit the ground and they're like, and it's just so ridiculous.
Oh my god.
It's very funny.
I might give it a watch.
Yeah, I personally enjoy it. I've been knocking it out pretty fast. Yeah, it's an easy watch. I will say one of the things that like sort of bugs me, and it's like less of a thing now, but like the music in the show is not that great. Like not the music that they choose to use, like, you know, other people's songs, you know, in shows have like transitional music. I will say they play a lot of The Weeknd, and I know he was really popular in 2016, but it is weird. Anyway,
excessive.
yeah, but like I mean the music being produced by like the artists at Empire.
Yeah.
Like one of the first songs that we hear from Hakeem is hot garbage. And it's crazy. Like I hated it so much. And what was really bothering me is that because it was supposed to be good canonically, everyone kept saying it was good, and I felt like they were trying to gaslight me. And I was like, this song isn't good.
Not good.
Not at all. They're like he'll play the song and they'll be like, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot. And I'm like, no, it's not.
I feel the same way. This is so like random. I feel the same way about
Where does he happen?
Bruno Mars' new song. Wait, who is it with? Is it with Low Road? Fat Juicy Wet?
Oh, Sexy Red, yeah. Fat, juicy, and wet. It's crazy. I have not listened to the full song. I've heard
Don't
clips.
even bother.
It's funny.
So bad.
What's funny to me is people seem surprised that Bruno speaks this way, and I'm like, so y'all just wasn't listening because I remember Gorilla. I don't know if you've heard Gorilla.
I forgot about
Same
that song.
shit, different shape, bitch.
Yeah.
That whole song is about him breaking a bitch's back. Like, that man been a whore. I don't know why.
It's just because this one's so like straightforward.
I guess. Like, this one is aggressive about
like,
it. They're like, Bruno!
They're like,
But like,
buying flowers
Gorilla?
and catching grenades.
But like, I think about songs like Gorilla, where he's comparing himself to a wild animal the way he's fucking this lady. Or like Runaway, where he's like, there's only one carrot and they all gotta share it. And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been talking this way.
Yeah. I mean, and like, I feel like it started getting more like towards that, or it started like shifting towards more of that like freak side of him. Like with that song with Cardi B, Please Me.
Oh, I liked that one.
Yeah, that was a good song.
That
was a good song though. See,
but I will say, one of the weird things though, I think about it is that he did that collab immediately after Die With a Smile, which has a completely opposite vibe, you know? So it's kind of like...
what are we doing, Bruno?
Literally, like he's just jumping from place to place. Because it was Apatu with Jenny, which is just like, or Rose, I don't remember which one. One of the Blackpink girls, which is a real catchy little bop. It's just, you know, we just having a good time. Die With a Smile, which was like... which was like Bridgerton level yearning, you know, and then Fat, Juicy, and Wet, like in that order, and it's like, sir,
pick a vibe.
Yeah, and like if any of these songs are gonna be on your album, they can't all go together.
Yeah, on one is crazy.
But granted, I think he is the feature on most of those songs. I think Die With a Smile is the only one that's like a collab.
Yeah.
Like I think Fat, Juicy, and Wet is Sexy Red song that he's on.
Is it?
And I think same with Apatsu, maybe.
I guess that.
Anything else we want to yap about?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool. I'm getting hungry anyway, so we're gonna go have dinner. Okay, well, I think we've yapped enough. Once again, I am Tumanyanelu.
Rhea.
And this has been the Full Volume Podcast. What was the thing? It's time to turn the volume down.
Yeah, there we go.
The thing we were supposed to say.
Forgot our outro.
Listen, we film once a month. Give us a break. Okay, bye everyone.
Until next time.